welcome back to the channel. And welcome back to another pair of campaigns. Unless, of course, this is your first time on the channel, in which case, welcome for the first time. As you would have already seen in the title, this is a prologue episode. So, this isn't going to be a regular episode where we just start the campaign and move on. This is actually a sort of explanation episode where I talk about my own personal rules for running Total War campaigns, my faction choice, the mods we use, basically all the stuff that is about the campaign, but not really like a part of a regular episode in the campaign, or at least they're not with my campaigns. I split them off into a prologue episode just for the people who want to hear about them, and for the people who don't care about that and just want to kind of get right into the campaign, then you guys can jump right into episode 1. So again, if none of that is of interest to you, you just want to kind of get right to the campaign. Episode 1 for both campaigns is actually already out now, so you can go ahead and get started on those. Now, if you do want to hear the explanation, though, listen on. So just starting with my personal rules, and this will apply to both of the campaigns that we'll be doing. For a start, my campaigns have a very heavy battle focus, and if you've seen my campaigns in the past, you'll know what to expect. I do spend some time on the campaign map, of course, but basically I'm just there to explain where I'm going, what I'm doing, what the plan is, what battle we're fighting for this turn. I don't spend a lot of time on the campaign map, or at least as little as I can manage. And then I just jump right into the battles for that turn. In my opinion, the battles are basically the best part of the Total War campaigns. Not that the campaign map isn't interesting or isn't fun, but it certainly isn't interesting or fun for me to watch. At least, again, that's just me. But I wanted to make the sort of videos that are very battle-focused. And again, if you've seen my past campaigns, you'll know what to expect. But if you haven't seen my past campaigns, just expect some short time on the campaign map just to do some explaining, and then getting right into the battles. Now, for some other rules that I have, there are no auto-resolves. I don't auto-resolve any battles. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll see every single battle. I do tend to skip over battles that are either small or unimportant, or rather, I guess they would have to be both small and unimportant. Like, I would consider taking a settlement that only has let's say, a couple of units garrisoning it. Like, that would be a small battle, right? But I would still show you that one because that is part of the progress of the campaign, and I don't want to skip over stuff like that. But let's say there's like a little rebel group that's like, let's just say 2 units, kind of standing out in a field somewhere, and I send one of my garrisons out to just quickly eliminate them. You guys wouldn't see that battle. I wouldn't auto-resolve it because I still like fighting even those really small battles, and in case it wasn't obvious, I really love the Total War battles. Okay, even the small ones, I tend to like those too, so you guys may not see those, but they are happening there in the background. I also fight battles to the end. So I'm sure you've seen it before. When you rout all the enemies, you get a little pop-up message that says, do you want to continue the battle or do you want to end the battle? I never end the battle. I always continue. I always run down as many of the enemy as I can before they get away. Now, I'm fully aware that this isn't necessarily something that I have to do. There's rules around it, like a certain percentage or something, and then the army will be destroyed on the campaign map, so you don't have to, kill any of them, or all of them, I mean. But I consider that to be part of the battle. Like running down the enemy, running down the routers is as much a part of the battle as any other part of it. And so I don't skip over it. I fight the battles to the end. I also don't use what I call the center of the settlement magic victories. So I'm sure you're aware that when you're standing in the center of the settlement with one of your units and there's no enemy units there, you'll get a little countdown timer that tells you in X amount of minutes you'll take the center of the settlement. And you'll get that pop-up message again, the one that says, do you want to continue the battle or do you want to end the battle? Well, that's also something I never use either. I might pass through the center of the settlement to maybe get to another part of the map, or if the timer does run down and that message pops up, then I just hit continue battle. Especially, I mean, that applies almost doubly to the settlements because the enemy, even if they're all routing, they'll route back to the center of the settlement where they can then fight again. And I realize that that's to my detriment. Like, I should just end the battle right there, but I don't want to. I want the battle to actually I want to actually have to fight all the enemies to the end. So I would continue the battle, let them rout, or, try and catch them before they get back to the center of the settlement. But anyone who makes it back to the center of the settlement, we would then have to fight, because that's just how I prefer things. Now, I think I did say we were doing a pair of campaigns, and that's normally what I do. I start 2 campaigns at the same time. The first one is going to be Divide and Conquer, and we are going to play as Isengard. Now, as for why Isengard, I've just really wanted to play as Isengard in one of the mods that I've been playing, but in my 4th Age campaign, there was no Isengard faction. I played as Dunland instead, which, I mean, is kind of nearby to where Isengard would start on the map, but obviously not really the same in terms of, like, units and stuff. The next mod I played was Lord of the Rings Remastered, but, see, I didn't want to play in the exact same part of the map, because of, Dunland is right next to Isengard. So even though there was an Isengard faction, I was like, you know what, let's play as another faction that I wanted to play as, which was Rune, or the Wicked Men of the East, as that mod calls them. And I would just save Isengard for this Divide and Conquer campaign. So that's what we're doing now. I'm playing as Isengard, just again, because I wanted to play as them. I actually really liked Isengard, like the design of the armor and everything from the movies, which I believe this mod draws, pretty heavy inspiration from. They felt like a very, like, professional evil army with, like, their, the same armor and helmets, between all the units, or all the soldiers. I don't think it was that way at all in the book, but in the movie, at least, that's how it was, and I remember really liking them for it. Now, as for mods, I already said Divide and Conquer, and you can go into the description if you want to see all the different modifications I've done for this campaign, because obviously I'm using the 4 GB patch as well. I've got Free Cam, I've got the Medieval 2 Engine Overhaul Project, and I've got Reshade. So, I mean, Divide and Conquer is really the only quote-unquote mod. Like, we're not playing with a sub-mod that changes, like, the types of units that are available or the factions or anything like that. But there are going to be some differences due to some of those other modifications. So you can go into this description if you want to see any of those. Now, as for the other campaign, we're going to be playing Episode 3 of the Road to Independence campaign in Empire Total War. Now, Empire Total War, and actually I should say I've never played Divide and Conquer before. I'm sorry, I know I'm diving right back into Divide and Conquer, but I just wanted to mention that this is my first Divide and Conquer campaign as well, though I have read up a bit on it, just so that I'm not completely lost as I start the campaign. And the reason I'm mentioning that now is because I'm about to say the same thing for Empire Total War, or something very similar at least. Because I think it was 2 or 3 years ago I played my first, like, Empire Total War campaign. I believe it was as Great Britain. And it was a short campaign. I didn't go for the long campaign victory conditions, which is a little unusual for me, but it was what it was. But that campaign was my only Empire Total War campaign that I've ever done. So I'm not exactly an expert in Empire Total War either. Which is probably why I didn't even know about the Road to Independence campaigns. I thought it was just the Grand campaign, and then I think it's the Warpath campaign, like the DLC campaign that came with it. But then I saw Road to Independence, and I was like, oh, this is like a tutorial, because, like, Episode 1's, I think, like a single battle, and then Episode 2 is like, it's campaign, but, it's like, hold your hand, click here, do this, click here, do that. But then Episode 3, it's like, okay, here's United States, Revolutionary War, have at it, go ahead. And I was like, oh, this is like a little campaign, so let's do this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Episode 3 of the Road to Independence campaign as one of my campaigns this time around. Now, we do have some mods for that as well. And again, nothing I would describe as like a sub-mod. Like, again, no factions have been unlocked, no units have been changed or anything like that. And obviously I'm playing as the United States, because I don't think you can even play as any other faction in that campaign anyways. Basically, again, go into the description. The mods are down there, but basically I've got a graphical overhaul mod, a mod that changes blood and smoke, adds some new sounds. I'm using a graphics pack from the additional units mod, but to be clear, I'm not actually using the additional units mod itself, so there's not going to be any extra units. There is going to be some graphics from that unit pack. I've got Reshade, I've got a mod for none of the projectile trails, because I really don't like those in Empire Total War. It looks like they're shooting lasers at each other. But anyway, yeah, that's it. Those are the 2 campaigns. Those are our factions. And again, both Episode 1s are out right now, so you can watch both of them, or just one of them, or even any of my past campaigns if you wanted to watch any of those. But whichever you choose, I hope to see you in any of my past or current campaigns.